Pad was the launch pad upon which Yuri Gagarin was launched to become the first human in space on April 12, 1961. This Soyuz capsule was mated to its booster on Saturday. The Soyuz rocket, which stands 162 feet tall and weighs 680,000 pounds, was transported by a rail car to the launch pad at dawn on Sunday. You're seeing now footage that was captured earlier in the week. First of the Soyuz, the final mating procedures that took place to mate the Soyuz TMA12 capsule to its booster rocket, this occurring on Saturday at the Site 254 Integration and Assembly Facility at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. The mating operation takes the better part of a full day. You see technicians attaching the escape rocket to the upper stage of the three-stage Soyuz rocket. This escape tower would be used to pull the Soyuz TMA12 away from the rest of the rocket should a problem occur during the 9.5-minute climb to orbit. As we continue to watch the footage that was sent to us from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan earlier in the week, once again you're seeing technicians as they completed the mating of the Soyuz TMA12 to its booster rocket. This occurred on Saturday. The crew has actually been aboard the Soyuz TMA12 on this launch day for them. For Sergei Volkov, a second-generation cosmonaut, Oleg Kononenko, the flight engineer, Volkov and Kononenko to spend a half year in space, and for So Yun-yi, the South Korean spaceflight participant who today embarks on an 11-day mission into space, 9 days aboard the International Space Station under her commercial agreement with her government and the Russian Federal Space Agency, Roscosmos. The trio arrived at the launch pad of the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan at about 3:30 Central Time this morning, not quite 2 hours ago. They said their final farewells at the elevator and took the short ride on the elevator up to the crew hatch, where they climbed aboard to begin final pre-launch preparations. The mating procedure that you see of the various stages of the Soyuz booster rocket and the TMA12 takes place in a very methodical fashion in the Site 254 Integration and Assembly Building down at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, overseen by a team of engineers from RSC Energia, which is the prime contractor for the Russian human spaceflight operations, and other subcontractors who are responsible for the various building of the rocket stages, the engines, the escape tower, and all of the avionics associated with the reliable Soyuz rocket, which again was first employed almost a half-century ago for the launch of Yuri Gagarin off the same launch pad upon which Volkov, Kononenko, and So Yun-yi are currently housed inside the Soyuz TMA12. This video that was captured several months ago during the training period shows So Yun-yi on the left and her backup San Ko, who were selected in a nationwide competition by the government of South Korea to fly on the International Space Station, as they took a ride in the Russian version of the Zero-G aircraft that flies parabolic maneuvers in and around the area of the Chkalovsky airfield near Star City, just outside of Moscow at the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center.
The backup crew of Expedition
Once again, you're looking at training footage that was shot of the prime and backup crews for Expedition 17 as they completed all of their training certification, both at the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center and ultimately down at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. You see the backup crew, Max Sarayev in the center, Oleg Skripochka on the right. They are the backup commander and flight engineer for Expedition 17. To the prime crew, which is Sergei Volkov that you see in the middle of your picture, and Oleg Kononenko, who is now on the left, as they talk to Vasily Siblyev, General Siblyev, who heads up the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center in Star City. This all very ceremonial in nature, very traditional, as the crews, through their training periods at Star City, run through a series of carefully choreographed training procedures that leads them to their launch date today from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Volkov in the center, 35 years old, a second-generation cosmonaut, the son of a legendary cosmonaut, Alexander Volkov, who flew 3 times to the Mir space station during his career as a cosmonaut, who is now 59 years old. Volkov joined by Oleg Kononenko, who is 43 years old, born in Turkmenia. Kononenko will serve with Volkov on board the International Space Station for 6 months. You can see South Korean children that were brought to the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center as part of their viewing of the training of So Yun-yi and of San Ko. This footage was shot actually at the time of the crew's departure for the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan back on March 26th as they flew on a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft from the Chkalovsky airfield just outside of Star City down to the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, as the crews traditionally do about 2 weeks before launch for final training and rest and relaxation. These views of the city of Baikonur along the main street in the town in which the technicians work, who work at the Cosmodrome, as the buses awaited the arrival of the Expedition 17 prime and backup crews back on March 26th. You can see here the prime crew descending from their aircraft to be greeted by officials who are awaiting them. Down at the Cosmodrome, again, this back on March 26th. This followed their final certification for flight, a traditional laying of flowers at the Kremlin Wall, and a visit with Anatoly Permanov, the head of the Russian Federal Space Agency. Again, all very ceremonial in nature. This occurring 2 weeks ago upon the prime and backup crew's arrival down at the launch site at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. This ceremony now takes place on the occasion of the ceremonial raising of the flags outside the crew quarters called the Cosmonaut Hotel, in which